Okay, today on Meet the Media, we're here with Jane Thomson. How are you, Jane?
Hey, Linda, I'm really well, thank you. How are you today?
Look, I am great. It's winter and I hate winter, but other than that, I am great. Tell me, how are you and your family holding up
Somebody
over
said
this?
winter. What? Really? Is it cold down there? Sorry, I'm just bragging because 5 minutes ago we were sitting here joking about was I under some lighting, but no, I'm just here in the Byron Bay hinterland where a light shirt is pretty much winter for us.
You can stop bragging right now. So other than the great weather, how are you and your family holding up during this strange environment that we're in right now?
It's been pretty strange. And look, we're okay. I've got 3 girls, 2 are teenagers, and one's nearly 10. And both my husband and I travel for work normally, very regularly. So like lots of people, we have just spent about 8 weeks continually 24/7 together. It's the longest amount of time we've all been in the same house together, particularly because, we travel so much, both my husband and I, for our work, that we're just not used to kind of having that home time constantly. And when we are at home, we both work from home as well. So whilst I think my husband and I struggled a little bit with that, the girls absolutely loved it. And they were pretty happy to sort of find their own rhythm and get into their own sort of daily routines. And we live on a property. We're very lucky. We've got 100 acres. And so we have plenty of space for people to get out and kind of have their alone time every day. And so I think being able to do that meant that we were able to get through pretty easily compared to a lot of people who, whenever I turned the news on and I saw pictures of Barcelona or Florence and people, cooped up in those tiny apartments, I had to keep reminding myself just how lucky we are.
Absolutely. And I'm pretty sure I saw you doing a few TikTok dances and a few horse riding episodes as well.
Yeah, I was one of those mums who didn't handle lockdown very well and was standing at the teenagers' doors with a glass of wine saying, "Shall we have a party? Come on, let's do a TikTok." But it did work. They were very good about it. In fact, they'd been encouraging me to do them for my business for ages, and I'd always resisted. So there was the opportunity. It was so much fun. I have to actually get back onto it now that lockdown's done, because we haven't done any since everyone's gone back to school.
That's fantastic. So tell us, Jane, seeing as we're at your home right now, what's something that perhaps you wouldn't show everybody whilst we have you?
Well, you're in my lounge room right now. So, and as I said, we're in the Byron hinterland. So the reason I've got some nice light coming in everywhere is we've got some paddocks all around us, which is great. So I'm always looking out at greenery. But because we're in the country, I really never close anything up. And during lockdown, if we were going for walks through the paddocks, or we grow pecans and it's the harvesting season at the moment, so we've been spending a lot of time down there. I get deliveries regularly, and a couple of times during the lockdown, delivery guys, new ones, because deliveries were off the Richter scale during this period, they said that they'd arrive at the house and wasn't sure if it was the right location or the right venue, but then they'd walk in and they'd see that sitting on my entry table, and they both said, "We knew it must be you." So they left the delivery there. So there you go. That was how people were able to identify me during lockdown.
That's awesome. So that leads me to my next question. I was going to ask you about wine samples. So you're clearly still receiving them, but tell us, how do you prefer to receive them, Jane?
I really don't mind. I just think it's great to be able to receive those. I do a monthly column for Taste magazine, and I've been doing that for 7 years. So I'm really glad to receive samples, because they help me to achieve fulfilling that every month, where I get to review 4 wines. And even though it's a bit of a supermarket glossy, I'm really proud of it, because it's actually the highest selling food magazine in Australia. So it's got more eyes on it than anywhere else. So I'm really appreciative of those wineries who do send me those samples. They are incredibly helpful.
Fantastic. So a lot of people are moving to online because they've had to. What's the best thing you've seen online of late?
What's the best thing I've seen online? Well, I've been loving watching wineries jump into that online space, because if you know a little bit about what I do, that's something I've been doing for a lot of years now. So I think for a few of those early years, Linda, it was frustrating not being able to encourage more wineries to jump into the online zone. So it's been exciting to watch everybody sort of almost jump into the swimming pool at the same time, you know, and some people are great swimmers, they're fantastic at it, and others are struggling, but they're enjoying being in there and they're getting a taste for the water, and they're realizing that there is a lot of success to be had if you can jump into that space. So I've really liked watching both small brands and big brands get into like a live tasting situation, and watching how often the big brands are no better. So even though they might have more money and more marketing power, and more team sort of numbers behind them, they're not necessarily any, I have to say that properly, not necessarily any better than some of the smaller wineries and the family-owned wineries that are doing exactly that. And I think the reason is that once you're kind of online, especially in an intimate space like we are now, there's no hiding anything. It doesn't matter how much money or how much great marketing team you've got behind you, or even what kind of great lighting you've got. If your message isn't engaging, if it's not authentic, if it doesn't come from the heart, and more than anything, if it's not entertaining, then you're not really going to get anywhere. So it sounded a little bit voyeuristic, but I've actually loved watching that. I've loved watching that parallel sort of thing happen, where both those sorts of businesses, which often feel like they're on uneven footing, have suddenly found a level playing ground.
Yeah, it is a great leveler, isn't it? Social media, and what a great message that is, to just, you know, speak from the heart, which we've said for many years, but this is really, I guess, showing who can do it well and who can't.
Yeah.
Tell us, Jane, what's your message to wineries out there at the moment?
I think keep jumping in that swimming pool, keep that online presence going. So just because things are starting to open up again, and aren't we glad that they are? I know I'm absolutely thrilled to see it happening state by state. And we get to be in real life together again. I think that now brands and wineries have tasted what it's like to jump into that pool. They shouldn't get out again. They should stay there and actually get better at swimming, get better at that online experience, and really, I guess, embrace the opportunities that aren't going to go away just because the crisis is reducing. They're still there. They're still there. People want to be entertained and educated online. They want to meet their producers. They want to, I guess, have a kind of a personal interaction with the producer that they can't necessarily have in real life, whether that's because of geography, whether that's because of restrictions, it doesn't really matter. There's always going to be an opportunity to provide that in the online space.
Well, that's great advice. Thanks, Jane. It's been lovely chatting with you today, and thank you for your time. We hope that your business gets back to normal very soon.
Thanks so much, Linda.